I'd come out to a house on fire. Okay, so I'm Cynthia, and I'm the host of the reality series, CPS the Horror Stories. I'm in the state of California. I had an open case, and the whole purpose of why I do this is to help parents have understanding of who CPS is, the trauma that they cause people, the destruction that they are, just the nightmare. So today I have Amanda. Amanda, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell me where you are.
Hi.
Tell me about
My name is Amanda Klemer. I live in Minnesota. This is my daughter, Amara.
Hi, daughter.
Yeah, you're my daughter.
Daughter?
Yes, you're my daughter. So what had happened? Go play, honey. Go play. Go play. Mommy's got to talk. Go play. Back in a minute. You don't have to be the star of the show. I understand you want that. She likes to be the star and the only person getting the attention. Anyway.
Well, technically it is about her, so.
It is. It really is. It really is. Because, like I said, I had told you kind of briefly. Essentially, in 2017 is when my daughter was born. We had issues with, well, what had happened was my ex-fiance, her father, his parents called to CPS, telling CPS kind of lies about me, saying that I wasn't taking care of myself while I was pregnant, even though, like, medically, like, in documents, it shows that I had lost weight due to me, like, throwing up. Like, everything made me throw up. I was, like, a kind of in bed case when it came to pregnancy, but that's when it all started. That's when CPS, well, that's when we got on CPS's quote-unquote radar. So let's just kind of skip ahead to when I gave birth to my daughter. 2 weeks prior to me giving birth, me and her father broke up. I had found out that he was cheating, and so I have pre-existing mental health. I have major anxiety, major depression. I have borderline personality disorder. So I have mental health. You know, I work on it. I deal with it on a daily basis. I do what I need to do. But I had been called in by my ex saying that, well, when we broke up, he thought I was going to hurt myself. So he called the police thinking that I was going to hurt myself. And they brought me in to be evaluated kind of I didn't want to, and I wasn't going to hurt myself. I was pregnant. Why would I? But anyways, and so I got evaluated, and they're like, well, you are obviously having a hard time in your life, but we don't think you're going to do anything. That also was put on CPS's radar. But then 2 weeks after and like 3 to 4 weeks after I gave birth to my daughter, I was living with a friend of mine because I hadn't had my own apartment yet and got my own apartment yet. So I was living with somebody. CPS came and talked with me and were like, well, we're opening up a case with you. And I'm like, okay, but why? They're like, well, because you are under the age of 25, you have mental health, and you're also a single parent. I'm like, okay, so why are you putting me in those types of categories? That's kind of ridiculous. Like, for me to be a danger to my daughter, I'm under the age of 25. I'm a single parent, and that makes me a danger? Like, the fact that I have all these things that I can't control, that makes me a danger to my child. Really? Anyways, so they opened up the case because of that. And then I was like, okay. So they opened up the case. They would come and see my daughter and I, because then I finally got my apartment, and then my daughter and I stayed at my first apartment, and then we essentially, oh God, see, I'm anxiety filled, sorry.
Okay.
Shh, Amara, go play. I will come play with you in a minute, okay? She always wants me playing with her. Anyways, but I had seen them at least like every other 2 weeks, okay? Like the first 4 months of her life, I would see them at least every other week, okay? They would come in, they would, evaluate or whatever, P-test me, and I complied to all of it. I was compliant. I gave them P-tests, clean ones, and everything. And they would give me P-tests because I was a drug addict when I was younger. Well, like when I was like 17, 18, 19. I stopped when I was 19, going on 20. So I met with them, every other week, complied, P-tested clean. What I had done prior to me becoming clean when I was 19, I did pretty much anything. Like, someone would offer me a drug, I would take it. The only thing that I did not willingly try and didn't want to actually try was heroin. So I never actually intentionally tried that. It was laced in a bag of weed I had once, but that was it. So I've tried pretty much everything. I was a drug addict.
Okay.
So I quit when I was 19 after I had an accident happen. That's another story. This is about CPS. Anyways, so they knew about that because I had to go to detox and all this other stuff. So they knew about that. So they basically kind of put me in this category of bad because of my past. I was also adopted and taken forcefully by CPS when I was younger. I was adopted. So they know that history as well. They do. They keep it all on record. They can see that type of stuff. So let's just say I had stopped seeing them. My daughter was 4 months old when they stopped. They just stopped contacting me to come see my home, stopped contacting me to come see me and my daughter. And then, my daughter had just turned 6 months, okay? Just turned 6 months. And they came into my apartment January 9th of 2017. They came to my apartment with somebody that it's somebody that checks children for bruises and stuff, like an investigator or whatever. Yeah. The caseworker or the CPS worker brought one of those in to check my daughter for bruises because people were saying that I was abusing my daughter in my old apartment. So the landlord the landlord said there was 2 other people, but I think she just didn't like me. And really, she didn't like me. She called me a bitch when I moved out. I'm not even joking. I don't know why. I must have rubbed her the wrong way because of whatever reason. I was good to her. I paid my rent. I did whatever I needed to do. I was compliant to her. I respected her. Yeah. But she just really hated me. So they lied, saying that I beat up my kid. And so when they came in, they checked her, okay? They checked her. All was good. They left. They left my daughter with me. 24 hours later, January 10th of 2017, they came the same exact time that they came the day before with 2 police officers and took my daughter from my arms. And I said, under what circumstances, on what grounds, why are you taking my kid? And they're just oh, general abuse, general this, general that, they gave me the runaround, And I'm just but I don't. You guys just came and checked my daughter yesterday. What do you mean she's being abused? You guys said that if you saw any bruises yesterday that you were going to take her yesterday. You guys didn't see any bruises. You left, and now you come today and you're taking her?
Yeah.
What? Okay, that's not okay. And then what's even more funny is there was this one lady, I don't think she was actually a CPS worker. I think she was just somebody that would come in and see how the kid was doing, she was almost like a volunteer. I don't know what to consider her, but she would come in and she would watch me and she'd be how are you doing today? And I would tell her the truth. I'd be I'm struggling today. Today is not a okay day. I have a lot of good days, but most of my days are struggling because I've got mental health. Every day is a struggle when you have mental health. you know, unless like something drastic happens. And I'm like, I just have a lot of depression and a lot of issues, but I'm dealing with it and I'm coping. It doesn't stop me from taking care of my daughter. It doesn't stop me from getting what she needs. And I don't let her see it, you know, like I don't let my child see my struggles.
Right.
So, I would be honest with them and I'd be like, oh yeah, today is not an okay, like I'm okay, but my depression is bad, or something like that, or I'm okay, but my anxiety is bad, you know, but I'm working on it. Like I'm coping with it. And so she would tell me, she's like, you know, through all of what you deal with on a daily basis and for what you've gone through in your past, because I had told her a little bit about my past. And she's like, and what you've just gone through all of your life, you are a wonderful mother. Like you do everything for your daughter. You make sure she's fed, changed. Like I've never once been around her for very long for you to like, you know, like all you do is love on her and everything. Like you're such a good mother. I don't see CPS taking your daughter from you. And she would say this to me when she saw us. And then they took my daughter when she was 6 months and a day. Yeah. Because she was like 6 months and 2 weeks, or she was 6 months old.
Yeah.
But essentially they took her, well, I had gone to the county building with one of my caseworkers, and we saw my daughter the next day, and that same lady that would see us was there. And I'm like, and she's like, Amanda, what happened? Okay, this is me telling you like something that happened, and she's supposedly supposed to be working for them, okay? She asked me what happened, and I said, I don't know. Don't you know? Don't you work here? And she was silent after I had asked her that. Completely silent. Like she didn't tell me why. She didn't even know why. Like legit. Didn't say a word to me after that. And what they ended up keeping my daughter for, she was kept from me for a year, almost a year. She was taken January 10th, and I got her back December 25th of 2017, so almost a year. I missed all of her milestones, but anyways, they had kept her from me because I have mental health, essentially. That's what they kept her away from me for, was my mental health. And I'm sorry, but one thing that I always continuously, even to this day after our, you know, case has been closed, I still to this day continuously ask, okay, I have mental health, okay? You know, but what world do you think that it's okay and it's gonna help is for you to rip my daughter from me and then take her from me and keep her from me for almost a year? Like how what makes you think that that's gonna help me with my mental health? In fact, like I said, it's made me so much worse. Like I'm paranoid, like all the time, worried about like parenting my child, including like outside. Like it's bad. Like I have PTSD because of it. And my daughter, when she first got home, I noticed she had night terrors. And in these night terrors, she'll end up screaming, mommy, mommy. So it wasn't just me that was affected. My daughter was too. I notice that one thing that my daughter does reminds me of pica. Okay, and do you know what pica is?
No, I've heard of it, and I don't know why I can't.
Pica is basically, okay, you know those My Strange Addiction shows?
Yeah.
When people eat like random objects that are not edible?
Yeah.
That's what pica is. Okay, pica can happen due to lead poisoning, okay, or a very high traumatic incident in your life, okay? Pica can happen that way.
Yep.
My daughter sits and eats wooden blocks, okay? Like she actually legit takes bites out of them. My daughter's got like traumatic things inside her, and she has separation anxiety and all these other things, and CPS did that to her because she wasn't like that before, you know? and just, I don't know, like, just keeping a kid from somebody because of their mental health is not going to help mental health. And it's not going to make the kid that potentially, because my mental health is genetic, okay? So she could potentially get it. And essentially what they did when they took my kid from her is amplified that. Already amplified the possibility of her having a mental health and made her end up having one, you know? She has, like I said, separation anxiety is real, and she's got it bad.
Yes. And let me tell you, with age, it doesn't change. And these night terrors, the night terrors that you're talking about, my daughter, when she came home, first of all, when my kids came home, they were both very abusive toward me, physically abusive, like hitting me, ripping stuff off the wall, breaking stuff, and I'm like, who the hell are you?
Yeah, what happened to you?
Yeah,
why are you like this? My daughter is violent too. Like she's so aggressive. Like even when she's loving you, like when she's giving you hugs, she's so aggressive. She'll smack you, like not on purpose, but accidentally.
And then the night terrors, my daughter would do this. She would be screaming like she was being murdered, like her limbs are being cut off.
Exactly.
And she would be looking around, and I'm like, what are you seeing? Because I don't see anything. What are you seeing? And she's just, and I remember I recorded it, and I showed the team that was involved in my aftercare from court, and they were like, okay, we've seen pretty bad stuff. I've never seen it like this bad. And I'm like, fix her. Fix my kid.
Yeah. And it's just like they can't do anything about it. Because, you know, the freaking CPS screwed them up. Like that. Anyways, and like I said, I was adopted. Okay. So I had my own CPS case as a child. You know, I was taken from my birth mom when I was 5 years old. Okay. And even then, whether or not, okay, my birth mom allowed me and my brother to get abused, molested, and all these other stuff. So we were supposed to get taken. Like in our situation, it ended up a good idea.
Right.
The way they did it, though, was so traumatizing for me. Like, essentially what had happened and what I can remember, and I don't really like remembering because it you know, PTSD and everything. I tried to get away from the police officer that was trying to put us in the back of their car. I tried to get away from him, and he used all of his strength and tightened to the point where I was like this and I couldn't move. And he threw me in the back of his police car where they put criminals. Okay? I'm like, am I getting arrested? I was a 5-year-old. I knew that police officers could arrest me. Like, I didn't know what was going on. I thought I was being arrested. Like, just CPS in general. Yeah. Nah. CPS in general, like, it's not good, but sometimes, like, in some cases, I think it's real. Like, when a kid is being abused, raped, neglected, that's when a kid should be taken, yes. But, like, in my situation, I just have mental health, okay? At least I'm trying. At least I'm working on it, and at least my kid gets taken care of. My kid gets taken care of. Everything she wants, she gets, okay? Like, I don't have enough money, but I do what I can to make my child happy. I feed her, clothe her, change her, everything. Her dad doesn't do crap for her. I do everything for her. And, like, she's my entire world. Like, when they took her from me, I cannot, like, the video that I had watched, that introduced me to you guys, of Michelle, I think her name was. She went live when they took her infant.
I don't remember. I didn't see it.
Okay, well, she had made a live and it came up in a recommendation, okay? Like, it was like, hey, you know, it's this. And I watched it and I'm like, that, like, my heart like she had stage 4 cancer, or she has stage 4 cancer, and like all of that other stuff, like, and they were just coming to take her kid, and it was quarantine. Like, for the best interest of that child, she's not supposed to be removed. And like my heart went out to her, and I'm like, you know what? I think I need to contact these people to see if I can talk to them about my situation. And recently I found out that one of my friends, she ended up pregnant around the same time I was. She got her kid taken from her because she has mental health, and because her baby daddy lets his girlfriend currently be around their son, and she beats on him. And this friend got her kid taken because of somebody else's bullshit from her, and because she's got mental health. Like, it's so corrupt, so corrupt. I just, I'm one little voice, and I want to do something to change it, but I'm just like one little voice, you know. That's why I was so, like, I was like, hey, can I tell you my story? I don't know if you want to hear it. I don't know if you consider it like a horror story, but this was wrong.
Well,
I think what
a
they
horror
did was
story.
wrong.
You know, I have physical issues. I don't know if you saw my story, but did you see?
I was looking for yours, actually. Like, I had saw your interview with Michelle, and you had said something about yours, and I was like, oh, wow.
Okay. And
Yeah.
I've had over 100 surgeries in 4 years.
Wow.
They took my kids. They accused me of being on drugs. Never touched a drug in my life. Never.
See, it's different. With me, like, there is somewhat of a concern there. But I have stopped for years. I'm 24 years old. I stopped when I was 19. Okay? Like, I don't do drugs anymore.
And that
like,
was
that's
prior
not my
to your
life.
kid. It's done.
Yeah, exactly. It was done. It was over with. You know, it didn't need to come back up.
Right.
But because of my baby daddy's parents, it got brought back up. Because they found out about my past, and they used it against me. Like, that, like, people were trying to get my kid taken from me before she was even born. Like, and then on top of that, just, I don't know. It was, my story, I don't feel like is as bad as other people's, but like, it's still very
have happened.
It shouldn't have happened, period.
And what's bad about your story, honey, is that look at how your daughter is struggling. Don't minimize it. Are there worse stories, like more trauma? Yes. But it doesn't change that your story is a horror story.
Mm-hmm.
Your daughter should not have been taken from you. If they were so concerned about your mental health, just like my physical health, hey, here's some support for you.
Yeah, they didn't even do that. That's one thing for sure they didn't even do. They didn't even go like, here, have some support. They just wrote down when they felt like it was upsetting. And then they never, ever explained or was like, hey, by the way, this is concerning me. They just never said anything, ever. And then, like, the one caseworker that would come in and see us from CPS, she asked me what was wrong. And I'm like, don't you know? Aren't you a part of this? Like, why are you asking me what happened?
Right. Who had your daughter while she was in foster care?
A foster care provider.
How was the treatment?
I don't know, and I'm scared to think about it, because there are times where I'm trying to discipline my daughter, like, and I do my best to not, like, look aggressive. I try to be like, Amara, no, that's not okay, you know, like, and whatnot. But like, I've noticed that she gets really, really scared, you know, and then I had noticed a couple of scratches and bumps and bruises with her when she was in care, and I would go and see her supervised, and I would point it out to the caseworker, and they're like, oh, she's fine. But when I had her and she had one little bump, you guys were ready to just take her out of my arms. Really? Like, really? She's got this huge cut on her leg. She's got a scar from that cut. She's got this huge cut on her leg and you guys aren't going to question it? Really? Yeah. So I don't know. I really don't know what happened. Like, these people have other foster care kids and whatnot, and I've gone to their house because they invited me to go stay or to go and have dinner with them one night, and they're making bank, and I'm just like, yep, this is just a scam. They needed money, and now my child's just a piggy bank for y'all. Like,
Yeah.
seriously. That's
true.
what it was they took my daughter from me because, one, I'm a vulnerable adult, quote unquote. I'm sorry, but I don't really like saying that just because I have mental health. I'm a vulnerable adult. But either way, because I'm a vulnerable adult, I am a single parent. I am young. You know, sue me for being all these things, but like, but I don't know what happened to my daughter while she was in foster care. They seemed nice, but my parents were nice and they adopted me for money. So like I said, honey, I've had quite the life. I really have.
You have
like,
a relationship with your mom, your real mom?
I've tried to reach out. I've begged people to help me reach out. I've gone to my literally went straight to my old caseworker, the person that took me from my birth mom. Like, ended up having to like find out that she was married and her name had changed. So like, I had to like look for her to do that, and I still haven't gotten anything. I've reached out, I've tried. My last name was Steinbach. Like, I don't know if anybody's out there. Hi, Kathy Steinbach. I don't know if you're out there, you know, like.
Oh.
But yeah, I've been through quite a lot in my life, and you know, and I would love for my birth mom, like, whether or not she allowed those things to happen to us, she also has mental health. Like, it was stated in documents with me that my mom had mental health, you know, and that she struggled with it. So like, either way, I still want her. I want to meet her, and I want her to know that she's got a granddaughter, you know, that she's got a baby granddaughter from me, you know. I just don't know how to go about doing it, you know. So I don't know if anybody out there knows how to do it. Contact me, Karma Klemer.
Yeah. Well, Amanda, I thank you for sharing, and I'm so glad you got your baby back.
I know, dude. I wanted to say I wanted to say my story because I want people to understand that whether or not that they take your kid from you, don't stop. Don't stop there. Don't freaking stop there, because if that kid is everything in your life to you, like, if they wouldn't have given my daughter back, I don't know where I'd be. I really don't. Like, I don't know if I'd be in the grave or doing drugs again. But my daughter is my entire life, and she keeps me straight, you know, and on the good path. And don't stop. Don't stop, because you can do it. You can get your kid back. It's not impossible. Just unfortunately means you gotta jump through their fiery hoops and become part of their circus.
Yeah.
Essentially. Like, you got to do what you got to do, you know? It's a lot of craziness. And, you know, even now, just, especially in this day and age, like, we've got so much going on. We need something to happen with CPS.
Yeah.
And just, we need something, because this isn't, it's not working.
Right.
It's making next generation's worse and worse and worse and worse, it feels like. So, yeah, but keep trying. Anybody out there that might have a case with CPS, I'm telling you, don't stop. You can do it. You can get your kid back like I did. It's not impossible.
I appreciate you sharing, and I know it causes anxiety to do this, but thank you.
Yeah, it's okay. I feel like this is gonna also help me close. Like,
Good.
I have been struggling with the PTSD from it, the trauma from it, and just, like the paranoia of continuing to like keep going and, being a parent and whatnot. It's, it's honestly something that I was hoping would help me have closure too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's possible to get your kids back. See, it's possible. You can do it.
Bye.
See,
Well,
it's possible. You can do it.
I hope you have an amazing day. Enjoy that baby.
I do every day. I do. All right. Say bye-bye.
Bye, honey.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.